Welcome to Engineering Knowledge YouTube channel. Today I am going to present about surveying and leveling. So if you look at the surveying, right, surveying can be defined as the art of making measurements of relative position of natural and man-made features on Earth's surface. So we are going to measure some linear measurements and angular measurements. But those measurements are mainly performed in the Earth's surface, and these details are going to be present now, and the presentations of these informations either graphically or numerically. So these detail can be performed in graphical or numerically, right? And if you look at the classifications of surveying, there are 5 different classifications of surveying. First one is land surveying. So this surveying is mainly focused on land areas, and second one is the mineral surveying. We are going to do some surveying related to minerals, and the third one is the hydrographic surveying. We are doing some surveying work related to the hydrostructures, and the fourth one is the agricultural and land agency surveying. Especially in the agricultural land, they are going to measure some surveying works, and last one is the military surveying. Nowadays they are using some advanced surveying instruments, GPS and total stations. But if you look at the first one, this the land surveying, this can be widely grouped into two. One is the plain surveying, second one is the geodetic surveying. Now in the geodetic surveying, now according to the space, now we are doing some surveying in the space. So according to the space involved, there are large areas are going to be involved in this surveying, and the surface of the earth cannot be assumed to be flat, because the earth is not a flat one. That's a realistic structure. If you are adding the 3 angles, now angle A plus B, angle C, not equal to 180, because it is not a flat. Third one, the curvature of the earth is taken into the account under this geodetic survey. But in the plane surveying, according to the space involved, actually we are taking small areas, not large areas, and surface of the earth can be assumed to be flat in the plane surveying. But in the geodetic surveying, we are not taking as a flat, but in the plane surveying, the surface of the earth is assumed to be as a flat. And the third one is measurements plotted to represent the horizontal projections of the actual field measurements. So we can plot these measurements in the field, and surveyings up to 256 kilometers square. Actually the area is 16 kilometer by 16 kilometer we can take in the plane surveying works. But in the errors due to the earth curvature is not serious, because the deviation is around 1 centimeter. But here, if you add the all triangles ABC are equal to 180, right? And we can move to the principles of surveying. So here I have used a picture. Now you can see we are always working from whole to a part, because here we consider the earth surface, and within the area, right, there are some minor details, for example your house or your office buildings or any of the infrastructures, but those are taken as a part of the structure in the whole areas, right? And in the measurements, right, the type of measurements in there are two. One is the linear measurements, right? But especially in the linear measurements, horizontal distance and vertical distance are going to be measured, right, under the linear measurements. Second one is the angular measurements. So in angular measurements, basically we can take horizontal angles and vertical angles. So here, to measuring the horizontal and vertical angles, we can use theorized total stations, right? And if you look at the errors in survey, now basically when we are doing some surveying work, definitely we will face some errors. Now these errors are basically categorized into 3 groups. One is the blunders errors, Now there are some mistakes, now the man made mistakes, and there are some carelessness the humans are doing. So those errors are categorized under the blender's errors, and the second one is the systematic errors. Now these systematic errors again group into 5. The first one is the stabilization, second one is the temperature, pull and set, the last one is the slope errors. Third one, the random errors. So when we are doing some random surveying, so randomly some errors will occur, so that is come under the random errors. But if you look at the surveying, we have to use some notation, because these notations are specialized in the surveying works, and when we do some graphical works, these symbols need to be attached in your work. So if you look at the symbols in surveying for buildings and road, right, and path, and there are some fences, walls, and the gate, brick drain. So in the building structures mainly we have the brick drain and embankment. So these embankments notations are used in the highway construction, and rivers and streams. So especially in the water projects, we have to use these notations, and marsh stations, especially for the control points, we use these station notations, open shed, bridges and culverts. This is also going to be used, and different colors, right? Colors are here. Colors are used to distinguish those symbols, right? And railway crossings, right? Because we had to come across these elements in our surveying works, right? Trees and earth trains, cuttings. Now in the road works, there are some cutting and filling works are related in the highway project. So these cutting notations are very important, and lakes, rough wastage, and lamp post, right? So this is the basic, and we will process the next presentations related to the levelings in the next coming programs. So please subscribe our channels, and visit to this YouTube link, and you can watch and get some basic ideas. You can share with these videos with your friends.